sexual education in school has taken on a whole new meaning, whether parents like it or not. But what about the things we were used to being taught, like body parts in schools? What are the children learning? You're going to find out in this report one example of how even that is becoming tainted. Indoctrination schools, public schools, may be closed for the summer, but that hasn't stopped many parents from across North America from speaking out against the sexual indoctrination that's been taking place inside of them and shows no signs of stopping before classes resume this fall. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and today I bring you another report which will be published alongside others just like it at our special website called stopclassroomgrooming.com. That's also where you can chip in a few bucks by donating to help cover the costs of our important journalism tackling this issue. You're about to hear from a BC woman named Leanne Bates about an example of how it's not just the sexually explicit books or gender dysphoria promoting resources that may be of concern to you. Even the sexual education we predominantly as a society do accept as being normal to be taught in schools to maybe older students, such as the male and female reproductive systems, has been tainted. Leanne got her hands on some of the misleading language an organization called Island Sexual Health has been using to teach many young BC minds. Island Sexual Health, which was originally an extension of Planned Parenthood, now prides itself on offering affirming workshops for youth and fully supporting the SOGI inclusive education. And what's worse, Island Sexual Health actually had the nerve to try and stop Leanne from sharing with the public what their organization has been teaching in BC schools.
So I was a doula for 20 years. So basically that's supporting women in their birthing experience and their pregnancy, all the way through to the labor. So I did that for a considerable amount of time. And then I moved into relationship and intimacy coaching for couples and teenagers, that sort of thing. And then I also, at the same time, worked specifically with a lot of trauma as it affected children and adults and their relationships.
And then somebody, probably because of your experience, gave you this document that you're seeing on the screen right now. We won't say who.
I received a letter that was given out to all of the parents to let them know what their children would be taught. And it looked fairly typical for what you would see now, except where it said that they were going to be teaching this inclusive language, which included an example of people with outside genitalia. Which struck me as very inaccurate and wrong. I understand that people want to be more inclusive and all of this. However, to say that someone or particular person, everyone technically has outside genitalia. That is the truth. Whether you're female, male, biologically, we all have outside genitalia. And it just struck me as very unprogressive and dehumanizing, considering that back in the day, women's anatomy wasn't actually taught properly because of sexism, interestingly enough. Yeah. And so in the 70s, they changed the medical textbooks. They put our whole outer anatomy, sexual anatomy, in the textbooks and finally start teaching people correctly. But even to this day, a lot of women are uncomfortable with their outside genitalia. They don't understand it, that sort of thing. And so it immediately struck me as, inaccurate. Why are we teaching children inaccuracies when this is supposed to be them learning proper autonomy? What are they learning in biology after this? It just seemed very weird. And I think that they were meaning to be talking about boys. That was the kind of idea. But it's very odd. And I've seen this language before when I was a doula. And, that language was also changing in terms of front hole instead of vagina and things like this. And it's inaccurate. Your front hole is your urethra. So it's dehumanizing, I think. I think it's actually exclusionary to women. And it's inaccurate.
Something else happened, and that's also why we're doing the story. And it's the way Island Sexual Health responded to you informing people in the public just on your Facebook about this confusing messaging they're sending to the kids?
Yeah, so they sent me an email a few days ago asking me to remove my post as it was a privacy breach. But they didn't provide any legal section saying why it was a privacy breach or any arguments for that. And I felt a little intimidated. So I did immediately kind of just edit out their name in the post. But I did leave the post up because I think people deserve to know what is actually being taught in schools. Like, we're all taxpayers, and this organization is getting taxpayer money. And this affects how our children view the entire world, how they view their own bodies. And it's not as simple of a decision as just deciding that this language is okay. You know, how does it affect if a child is molested or someone is raped and they have to go report to the police about what happened to them and they can't use the correct anatomical language? As it is now, as I understand it from the RCMP now, they need factual, correct information on those reports.
I reached out to Island Sexual Health to find out on what grounds are they asking you to take down that post? Of course, Leanne did not name the children. She didn't even name the teacher. And also, I wanted to know why they want to keep anything that's happening with children in a public school secret from the public.
I mean, I also asked them what was distressing about the post, if it was correct and accurate and exactly what they were teaching. And I didn't get a response back from them on that. But it would be interesting to know because if they do stand behind that curriculum, I would love to open a dialogue about that and find out, why they're making those decisions and how we can actually have a larger conversation as a society about this change in language that actually affects our children in so many different areas of their life.
I reached out to Island Sexual Health to get their side of the story and haven't received a statement back. If I do in a timely fashion, I'll go ahead and update the written article below, which you can find in the description box beneath this video. It's bad enough that children these days are not allowed to be taught what a woman is. Now a woman's body parts are also taboo. If you appreciate that Rebel News does not shy away from biology or covering this important topic, consider going to stopclassroomgrooming.com, share our reports there to raise awareness of this issue, and chip in to donate what you can. We appreciate your support.